I was like, holy cow, Bambi.
How about,
Did he leave his skate guards on?
You got to be kidding me. Like two other three guys that played in the
I know you got more money than
yeah, I was gonna say.
like. Is it hockey? So we were playing here. Back with episode 13, guys. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Episode 13. Wow. I know we talked about this before. It's moving along. It's getting better. Set's getting better, growing. Producer's getting his stuff together, which is finally nice. You know, his sidekick still questionable.
I think they're both questionable, to be honest, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Who's the decision maker on our set? Is that you?
No. I got Trump today because I want 3 chairs because I know you're not comfortable there. You're okay.
I'm fine.
You know,
But
but
a chair would be nice.
He's 6'5".
yeah.
My legs barely reach the floor. Doing the dangle
You
here.
can get
But,
you a little stool.
but in all honesty, these chairs aren't the most comfortable either.
No?
Like they are, they're not. They're better than where you are, my opinion. But we're working on it, Joe. Kind of like the power play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're
Reg.
working on it.
Yeah, right.
How did you like that?
He texted me the other day and says, "Hey man, what's that power play? We're working on it, Reg."
What did you guys go for? You guys went for 2 for
2 for
3?
2.
2 for 2?
2 for
There
2
you
that
go.
night, and then the next night, 0 for 3. Yeah.
That's, work in progress, man.
Yeah.
There's only
one day
Well,
at a
5
time.
games left in the
So-
season. You guys will get it.
We want to be combined over 105, right? Combined between the two. And I don't.
Is that what you base it on, 105, not 100?
105. And so between the two, you want to combine for that.
Yep.
And so I had to put a note on the board downstairs to myself of things I wanted to do next week. And one of them was to maybe even make a full change on our power play. And so we were talking about that, you and I were. And I ended up saying, well, Brownie, I think, we're going to, I don't know. And he goes, Cumsy, you're 20%. And I went, what? Well, I haven't looked all year. Where I'm just understanding the number. Like last night we were 2 for 2. Okay, good. Well, the last 5 games we were 1 for 21. Right? So, well, I'm making that up, but I'm like, I have a general idea. He goes, well, you're 20%. I was like, that's not bad. He goes, well, it's certainly better than the 7% it was last year when I ran it.
So for the listeners out there, what Joe's talking about is, combined percentage of 105, meaning your power plays, whatever, at 25%, and your PK should be at whatever the difference is, 85, right? So
Correct.
that's kind of where we're at, or what we're talking about as far as percentages.
So, like for your league,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure on this. You might want to tell me. Do you do something like that?
Something like that.
So
Try to.
I know that our league, this league here, even a couple of years ago, was very skewed because the top teams were like 112, 113
Is a combined.
combined.
Yeah.
Well, the National Hockey League is really where I grab a lot of statistics from, right, or an understanding of them, and 105 is a really nice number.
Yeah.
And in this league, 105 is a really nice number, but anything over 100 is,
good.
between 100 and 106, you're a third place team. A first place team or overall, like those numbers are like 109,
Yeah.
111.
So
Like,
what
those are
what is our
huge
combined?
numbers. I think we're like 103.
That's good.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way. PK is good.
Yeah. Yeah. We're okay. Like, I thought we were literally, though, because I thought we were like 12%, 12, 13, 14%. Like, I knew we were better than a year ago, but I'm still not happy with it. Even at 20, I'm not happy with it. Like, I'm just a believer that the minimum your power play should do for you is gain you momentum. Mm-hmm. Because you and I both know, you played the game long enough, we all did.
Yeah.
You're not going to score on every one. But what it can do for you is gain momentum. Mm-hmm. And it's not like a penalty kill. Like a penalty kill, some might say, is even easier to gain momentum, from having a successful PK, which might be true, but I believe it's an attitude going over the boards. And what we talk about is like, hey, you have to understand there's 4 of them. You've all killed a penalty before. How hard do you work? So now as 5, you have to minimally match that intensity, if not more, to gain that. And so that's really been our focus this year, is just making sure we gain some momentum from it.
And you see it on a PK especially. Like, obviously, momentum, you gain control in the zone and you're peppering and moving the puck around, you're getting some shots. Obviously, that helps. I think it's easier to have the momentum change unless you score a goal.
Killing a penalty?
killing a penalty. Because if you go down on a 2-on-1, you get a shot. Man, the whole bench is going. Everybody's going. You know what I mean? The crowd's going. Oh my God, this PK, blah blah blah.
Yeah, well,
Not just successfully killing it, but if you get an opportunity, scoring chance, that's a game changer.
like one clear. Like, and I don't know this. It would probably be something we could look up, but I think one clear versus a lost face-off. So if you win the face-off, you immediately have momentum to clear pucks again 2 or 3 times,
100%.
right? Where a lost puck. So here's my question: is how many goals are scored against you after you get the first clear versus how many goals are scored against you off a lost faceoff?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll bet you right now that it's higher off a lost faceoff.
Oh, for sure.
Because
yeah,
one clear, but it'd be interesting to see, because I know if you get 3 clears,
You're killing the penalty, 'cause-
You're going to kill the penalty. Even though there might be 40 seconds left on that thing, you're going to kill it.
Well, but by the time you get the puck, you regain control in your own zone, or right, and you regroup, you come in. That's 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's 20. They did it at the World Juniors in '94, my last year junior, and the World Junior team, and it was 3. And I believe at that time it was 22 seconds. It was 22 seconds to go down,
Set up.
clear, and then get coming back and set up was 22 seconds. So 3 clears is a minute and 110 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Stats don't lie.
Nope.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where, you get a good statistician, you're looking like, and that's the first I've really heard of the 110%, 105 or whatever. I've always based it off 100.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, 105 is usually a first place team. I just know in this league years previous that the numbers are even higher, like 110, 109, that they're way high.
Yeah.
But like your league might be super high too.
Because I'm pretty sure we had to be over 105.
I would have to think
We
your
would have to be,
league
yeah.
would be like 114.
Yeah.
I would bet like Helen,
And I think ours is literally high.
Granite
too.
City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those guys are probably
we
pushing
were
above that.
we were 4th or 5th in the league in PK. I mean, our power play was
Terrible.
but we were in the 90s. So
Just throwing that out there.
I mean,
Stats don't lie.
hey, we'll look it up.
So
We weren't last. We were in the middle of the pack.
on your power play,
Yeah.
how was your penalty kill?
Like top 5.
So you're talking top 5 at 80.
It'd be interesting. Where's our stat guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Googler.
Yeah.
Throw it in the
Putting the
Googler.
Googler there.
I like if your penalty kill.
The old director, he's probably on Instagram or something,
Like I think we had one year.
trying to buy some new shoes.
Looking at pictures of Mahomes or something.
Yeah.
Our penalty kill was 89 and higher. We even got up to like 91.
We were
This
in
is
the
a few years
we were in the
ago.
90s at one point this year for sure.
But if you can be 83, 22, but
That's not bad.
No, those are nice numbers.
If you can sit at 25,
But if you could be at 27,
yeah.
and then you could be at 87,
Money.
yeah, it's pretty good.
You're scoring 75 in Pup A with those numbers. That's funny. So, Joe, this past weekend, Amarillo 1-1, dominated start to finish Friday night.
Yeah.
Looked good. Not to say you didn't look so good on Saturday, but it was different.
Yeah, unfortunately. Standing there, we like that's our power play? Or that's their power play?
Mine.
What was their penalty kill?
So 90, so
I think it was
107.
107.
Yeah.
Well, you were also a playoff team. You were second place. So
What's that number?
Power play goals. Again, how many chances? How many opportunities?
But you're below. What's the power play? 17%?
yeah.
those are still nice numbers, man.
Look at the NA's numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. So we did things all weekend that we had been working on for 2 or 3 weeks that I felt really come together. Like we came out of our own zone really well, like smooth, fast. Tape to tape is fast, but it's smooth. Like smooth is fast, and we just did a lot of good things. But there wasn't a level of intensity or want to win that I was comfortable with. It was like, hey, we won last night. This is a different team. We're still playing okay. We're going to win this game. But they went up 2-1. Then we tied it up, and there's no way it should have been a goal. Our guy high-sticked this kid at the other end of the ice.
they did.
Speared him right in the face, and he doesn't call a penalty. We go down 3-on-1 and score.
And they even had a conference on it.
Yeah. Well, but it wasn't a major. So
No,
yeah,
but they
so
couldn't call it, but
they couldn't call it. Had to be.
But
major.
they still talked about it.
Yeah, and knowing those guys, I'm surprised. But and when it was 2-2, I thought, you know what? Okay, and hold on one second. We went into. And I didn't say a lot between the second and third. It's like, you know, these guys, I mean, it's game 55. Like, you know, come on here. And then I just, maybe I should say I didn't like our third period. And we just didn't have enough push. And I was really disappointed because now we're in a situation where we need help to finish second. Where second was in our control.
Grasp, yeah, for sure.
Was in our grasp. Did we need to run the table? Yeah. But why not run the table with the teams we've played? You know, we beat Oklahoma City, which is a good hockey team.
Yep.
Then we could have beat Amarillo, which is a good hockey team. You know, and then we got Colorado, which they got nothing to lose.
Yep.
Right? So that's going to be tough. So we got to play 3 games this weekend. And then we're going against the team we're going to hopefully see in the second round of the playoffs. And like we could have, and then there's a lot more emotion to it internally than externally in a sense of like, come on, guys. Like, we could have did this, you know. So this weekend, now we need Oklahoma to beat Shreveport once, you know,
which is doable.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, so what was our totals?
20 and 80. Yeah. So you're betting 100.
So 101, 2094, and we're only 80%. I would have thought we were about 83%.
I would have thought you were higher too.
Power play, I knew that, but I thought we were higher killing penalties. That's 1 in 5. Oof. Yeah, and there's another thing. We lose Wolfie. We end up in a confrontation Friday night. He breaks his hand. And
confrontation. Wow.
And it was a confrontation. It was good. It was a good confrontation.
Politically correct.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Turn it over a new Leaf Joe.
You know, it was just a good tilt.
It was a good one. And the other guy had about
No.
6 inches on him.
We'll cut that one out.
Yeah, just beep.
Yeah.
Just put a beep on that one.
Frog.
Leave it in, but put a beep.
But he got into a good tilt, and
Frog.
it was
I just got that.
and
Took me a minute. Turned 50 the other day. You know?
And it was
slower these days.
and a little small fracture in his hand, and we thought after the doctor seen him in X-rays, we thought worst case scenario, and found out yesterday it's not. So he could be back as soon as game 1, round 1, and worst case maybe game 3, round 2.
Yeah.
So, but what was really funny, Brownie runs a penalty kill, and I run the power play this year. I didn't realize, you know, as a coach, you have these, and I know this sounds terrible, but, you know, I think I'm pretty close to our players, and I like them all. I talk to them all. But when one gets hurt, you literally, as a coach, you just move on, right?
Yeah.
You literally just move on. It's like, hey, kid, I love you.
Yeah, man.
See you later. And who's up? Right? Because you can't.
You don't have the time.
Yeah.
No, you don't. And so this happens Friday night. Saturday morning, he's standing outside my room where there's a balcony and whatnot, and he's looking at his hand. I was like, hey, dude, that's not good. And he goes, I said, you need to go see. So Zeus takes him to the hospital. He comes back. He's like, yeah, that's not good. So we already knew from the night before that he wasn't playing. But I never thought about it in a sense of where we're going to miss him.
Yeah.
Shame on me for that, right? So all of a sudden, and Wolfie's one of the first guys over the board to kill penalties. He's one of the first 2 sets, always. And does a real nice job for us. And I didn't realize I went down to put the penalty killers out and went, oh, Brownie, we don't have a Wolfie. So until that hit me in between the eyes,
man.
I was like, next guy up. Well, we practice 3 units. And then once in a while, we'll have a 4th unit. And then you're trying guys out, right? It's like tryouts on a weekly basis with your penalty kill. So I'm yelling at Brownie after I turned and walked away, and I'm yelling down the bench going, we're going to be doing penalty kill 3 times next week. Because literally we hadn't had anybody in the mixer for a couple weeks. We hadn't, we were just rolling along and we weren't practicing at the fourth unit. And I know Frank and Lundo go out a lot, but I try to use them last just because they play so much offense that you want to. So now we need another unit. So we practiced one today, and hopefully,
just like for the listeners, just like the power play, there's certain guys that go, your first unit, second unit, and just like PK, you have your 1-2 line, and it's an art. You just don't throw anybody out there.
No.
Because they all work differently, react differently, read plays differently. So it's just not like, hey, whoever's up next, go. It's certainly not the case.
No, and it's
and then
we've
like you
used
said,
a lot. Like Medrick's killed penalties, Triggsy's killed penalties, Badger's killed penalties, but not on a consistent basis.
The mindset of people when they think special teams, power play, or PK are your best guys. It's not the case.
No.
You might use more of your skill guys for PP.
Yeah,
but certainly not the case.
No,
in many cases anyway.
Killing penalty is it's an art.
It's an art for sure.
I'll use my hardest character guys.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy that's going to eat the puck.
100%.
Where the skill guy, he might make a better read, but he ain't going to block that puck. You want sometimes you want a guy that's going to eat that thing in his face and get up with a smile on. Okay, you got right on,
Yeah, lost his killing penalty.
Yeah.
80%, buddy.
So it's and like Brad Walker, Brad's killed penalties and played a certain role for this team since the day he got here. Absolutely have the utmost respect for Brad. Eddie Shepler eat a puck, as quick as looking at him.
There's a lot of guys.
There's a lot of guys. And those are the guys that killing penalties are first to go. And now we're into the mixer, and those are the guys that, they might not lay down and do that. They may not. They may when it's power play, or probably not power play, when it's playoffs, but you're still not sold.
It's like, do I really want to go down?
Do I really want to block this? So that's what goes on. And so today we had another unit going. We'll do a little bit more on Thursday. And, in a sense, I don't want to get too much practice at it because that means we're taking some bad penalties and whatnot. So we'll see. But Wolfie will be back, which is good news.
That's a good thing. And, back to second game in Amarillo. I don't pay too much attention to it, but I did watching, and I was losing my marbles. They're a big team. Amarillo is a big team.
Biggest junior hockey team I've ever seen.
Huge.
Yeah.
And there was guys flopping around.
How about the last penalty 2 minutes ago?
Oh my God! Honestly, and you guys know me well. I'm not an excuse guy. I'm not saying you guys are, but it is what it is, man. But when you see freaking a guy that's 6'4", flopping around. I'm just like...
You know what? I'll name names. McDonald.
Yep.
He's one of their smallest players, and I think he's still 6 foot or 6'1". Flops around like Claude Lemieux. Yeah. Sorry, Claude, not that I know you, but no disrespect. You played 1,200 games and 4 cups, but you still flopped. And Ivy, oh my God. The pair of those two. And I should stop there.
Yeah, but...
Yeah,
right.
You're going to be in your foxhole.
Yeah,
right.
Nope.
But it is a. But I was so frustrated.
Yeah,
and I don't get frustrated, when things like. But it was just to see that, and because if we had guys on our team doing that,
no, we wouldn't.
No, that's my point.
It's not happening.
Now get out of here. Like when you miss a day of work, like you guys miss them all the time, so you're used to it.
Yeah, you guys.
But
it is what it is.
Part-time mofos.
Part-time. 6 shoes, bro. But like if you were to miss a day of work,
oh yeah,
you were like, the walls are going to come down, and it's the end of the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I feel that way. I'm sure you guys do
for sure.
Miss a day.
Okay, so I got to interrupt you here. I said something this year, and to this day, Jay, Dr. Sharp, thinks it's maybe one of the funniest things he's ever heard. And there was a day, and I'm gonna have to use a beep on this one. So I got mad at the players, and I was like, "You part-time mother," meaning one day good, one day bad, right? So he comes into my office hour, he's laughing. He's like, "Dude, that was the funniest thing I think I've ever heard. Part-time mother." So I literally think that might have been a driving force behind him coming to work yesterday was
Could
he
be.
didn't want to be called
A part-time mother. He's like,
like
they're
that might
gonna.
have driven him. Literally, might say,
That might
I
have
got to
been
go to
it.
work because I'm not. I'll be one of them part-time guys.
They're gonna talk about me. They're all gonna laugh at me. They're all gonna laugh at me.
So, anyway,
Oh, shit.
But that, and he came in. I'm like, dude, like, really, man, like. So he told me the story, and we won't get into details on that. But
God bless him.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, he's an awesome.
But yeah. So then I'm asking him, and shame on me because I'm better than this. Really disappointed in myself. Usually, if I have a video of someone, I keep it. You know what I mean?
You don't have it.
No, for a rainy day. Keep it for a rainy day. Well, I thought I was going to have some fun yesterday and put something online with our part-time director. So I'm looking through my computer and I don't have it. So I'm like, hey, Jay, what are the chances you can send me the video? Why would I do that? It's because you're a good guy. Come on, man. Well, you're going to do something with it. I said, you know me better than that. I ain't going to do anything with it. So he sent me one, but it's not the right one I was looking for. So I used to be able to record the ice, through Live Barn. And Jay would probably fall on the ice 6 times a week. I did the math when it was like 100 and some times in the course of 12 months. I'm not BSing you. And it got to the point where you're tired of recording it because like it's only so funny. But this one we had to burn the ice out a bit because it was pretty high and we're putting in some new logos and stuff. So we're out there and he's got the garden hose and we're building it up again. And he's talking smack to our youth hockey director at the time because he just previously fell like 2 minutes earlier. And I'm like, Jay, like everybody falls. And that's the truth. I don't care who you are, you're going to fall. Eventually you're going to fall on the ice. Doesn't matter if you've been around it. It's just, it happens. But he's talking smack. And now I have the garden hose. And we're walking off and Jay hits a wet spot. Feet out from under him, and I have the garden hose. And he's on his back, laying in the pool of water, and I'm like, oh, man, do I want to bury him right now with the water? And I'm sitting there like this. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
Don't.
So
You did it, right?
So,
You did.
so I
right?
didn't. No, I didn't.
Come on, I don't
I
believe
know.
it for a second.
I swear to God, I didn't.
I got to see the video then.
That's the video that I'm looking for.
Okay,
and
well,
just because it's
I don't
so
think it
funny,
exists, 'cause I think you did it.
You can. No, I didn't. But you can see Jer chirping our youth hockey director. He's bantering back and forth, and they're laughing about it. 2 seconds later, he bails, feet in the air, flat on his back. But
I think he
been
wears the shoes now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a pair. Yeah.
I think he wears.
I don't know
them
if
a
he wears
lot.
them or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does. When he's working in the afternoons for the arena for you guys.
Yeah.
But I think he does.
I've heard him clapping
Did
around.
you ever hear
with
Did you ever hear the one where he? I'll send it to you. Where he broke his finger squishing his hands on the boards. So the portable boards we have.
Yeah. Oh.
So this is probably one of the funniest. So they're loading him back up after the session, right?
Yeah.
And the guy that he's working with, like a dad, didn't listen to the instructions and put it on when Jay wasn't paying attention. And I think it was his pinky, and it pinched like this part, right? And he squealed like a cow. Like
So
a
the guy
pig.
put it together.
And then
his
like
finger was in there.
he was jumping up and down and you can see this all in my barn, and I'm pissing myself because it's hilarious, right? he darts out to center ice. He comes back. He doesn't know what to do. But it was so funny. And then next thing I know, he's got a freaking finger cast the size of like this. He's like, take 6 weeks off.
No.
No, he didn't take 6 weeks off, but I tell him he did. He was out for a couple days, but I was like, dude, really? You pinched your finger, man.
I was going to say, is this baseball?
But that is a true story, and I'm going to find that video.
I would like to see it.
He said,
Who did you
way
ever
you
send it
didn't-
to before? Go into your sent mail.
I don't usually do that because I just keep it for myself for a rainy day.
Rainy day. I just need to.
It's like, hey, fellas,
What makes you happy? Well, when it rains out, I just scroll through my own videos.
why share them? But it's there's several of Jay but he's just he's a character, man.
Oh.
And again, for those listeners, we do this all the time. If he's here, he'd be part of it. So we're not talking out of
turn
content.
here,
Yeah.
no.
So-
No.
Oh,
Good,
shit.
good dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he called me and thanked me yesterday afternoon for starting the laundry, and I was like, Jay, you don't need to thank me.
I don't think he's forgiven me for the kangaroo pouch thing.
No, I don't think so.
No.
He brought it up. He brought it up
Now-
earlier today, actually.
Herm gets him this jacket, and it's Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And it's got the heat in it. So we keep telling him, like, hey, Jay, like, you can bring hot food. Just put it in your pocket. you don't have to worry about your pouch.
Yeah, man.
Just turn your coat on, and you can, like, chicken wings. You can do whatever you want. He's like, you know what? One of these days, he goes, I'm going to be on the bench, and I'm going to have a drumstick in my hand as I'm about to take a bite on the bench, and I'm going to be looking right at you. He goes, what will you do about it? And I said, well, probably laugh, Jay, but as long as it's warm. Like, I don't want you eating cold
Get a
chicken.
little messy in your pocket.
We were talking about getting him something made with a nice little kitty, like, foil wrap pockets.
But it just, Jay is such a
Good person.
a good person, man. It really, really is. So this weekend, Colorado. I know we talked about this before. Not a numbers guy, but it could be a numbers situation. As far as
Oh, the other thing what you told me, that's the other reason I was pissed off. No, about we solidify our spot with one more win.
I shouldn't have told you that.
No. I want to know that. So I don't repeat that stuff to my players because it's a process. But to me, that's important, right? Like, I know that.
Yeah.
So it was just another thing to,
And I don't call you after a loss.
no. Well, I'm not fun to talk to anyway.
Well, what about? Well, you're not really fun to talk to, period. But after a game, I'm just kidding, Joe.
No,
I think,
but-
I think he's more
hey,
fun after the
Hey,
game.
Joe, and they said we
You never
wouldn't
know what
get
you're
along.
going to get.
Well, it depends on what I'm trying to portray. Like the other night, I'm sitting there, and I was mad enough. And of course, I didn't say anything after the game. And I'm like, forgot my earbuds. So now, at 1 a.m, when it's time for me to try to go to sleep, I want to watch something on my computer and not on the screens throughout the bus. And I'm sitting there and going, God damn it. I'm like, I forgot my buds. Like, I can't. I'm not going to be able to hear it because I sit right by their door, and the bus is so loud that the computer's not loud enough that you can even hear it, right? So, anyway, I'm like, I'm going to put on a war movie.
There it is.
Did you?
And no, I didn't do it.
Oh, I was going to say,
But
did you do it without me?
No. Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's funny.
Okay.
So, but no, I didn't do it. But I was in one of those where I could have, and I didn't. But Brownie did on Thursday. Go in there. It's funny. So, story. This goes back 20 years ago, and my trainer, Tyler Sleeper, athletic therapist, call him Tex, and he loved war movies. So do I. And we would put on, depending on the outcome of the game, which we won a lot of hockey games back then, so this didn't happen very often, but if we lost, we'd put on We Were Soldiers. Okay, well, on a bus, that is the loudest movie that you could ever possibly put on the bus. There's choppers flying by you, and there's gunshots. Like, that is a violent but loud movie. So we would literally, 2006, we would 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd turn this movie on because we were.
There's no
asleep.
such thing as earbuds.
Right? There's no earbuds, right? And then we'd have a little bunk, and there'd be kids that literally they'd wake up having nightmares, right? oh my God! So the other day, we're sitting there talking to a couple players, and the players like,
I got a story.
they're like, "Hey, coach, what's up with you and these movies? Like, really?" I'm like, "Well, you like them, right?" He's like, "Well, yeah, but they're a little loud." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, who cares?" I said, "Just be happy you didn't play here 15 years ago when, we could do this."
That was the norm.
Right? That was the norm. So, anyways, Brownie, this trip, he's like, "We're gonna put this on." So, Brownie suggested to me, which I think is really funny. So,
Yeah.
I did. I was like, "Yeah, turn it on." And then I stood at the front of the bus. And I just looked back at everybody with this shit-eating grin on my face. And Bradley Walker, these guys are looking at me going, "Really?"
War movies.
But I'm not going to take credit for it. I mean, obviously, yes, but I just thought it was funny because a week before they were like, really like your horror movies, eh, Coach? I said, yeah, I'd be happy to eat 3 in the morning.
My brother, I've told you this. So about a year ago, somebody played a prank on him, a bad prank. They threw live fireworks in his basement, and he's home alone. His family was out of town. It's about 11:30 at night, and he's watching Rambo, right? So he's watching Rambo, and it costs about $30,000 worth of damage. There's a whole thing behind it, but I laugh. So he's watching Rambo, and all of a sudden, and there's a war, guns are going off, and everything's going off, and all of a sudden he hears like something's in the house, like gunshots. That's what he thought, and he freaked out. And he jumps over the couch and he falls, like he bails over the couch, lands on his head.
Like there's a drive-by.
Oh yeah,
shooting
he just totally freaked out. Totally freaked out. We lived in and landed
Get out!
landed on his head, and he had no idea what was going on. And he's got this is funny. He's my brother, I can say it. He's got PTSD or whatever. Like he had to go see a doctor, like a psychiatrist, because he's all jacked up. I was just like, maybe you're taking it a little far, but
I don't know your brother. But I'm seriously trying to picture all this. Like did his wife and children come home and find him behind the couch,
I don't know how it ended.
or did he get up and go, "Oh"?
Like he and there's a whole outplay of this, but I know when he tried to jump over the couch, and he's 6'3", and he didn't quite make it because his knees caught, and he knocked over the couch as he was doing it and freaking landed on his head, and so he hurt himself that way, and then I'm pretty sure he crapped his pants because he was all freaking out. Like, I felt bad for him.
I guess my real question here on this story is, he's 6'3"?
Yeah, he's a big
What
boy.
happened to you?
I have an answer for that. but sure, that's a good one, buddy. Good one.
I'm back. Here I am.
But
Welcome to the show, baby. Welcome to the show.
but I oh God, I got a few come back. But I can't. He's already got a part editing, but no, that's a good question. I've been asked that many times. Yeah.
It's a
many
serious-
times.
Serious question.
Many times, because my daddy's 6'2", almost 6'3".
Hey, we were talking last night. Me and Mikey, and the old saying is, well, the milkman stopped by.
Yeah.
And Mike's dad, famous Bill McCurry, used to say, "The garbage men are out before the milkmen."
That could have been the case.
Right?
Yeah, I've been asked that before, and not on a podcast, needless to say, but yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Good for you.
I have an answer, but can't really say it.
We'll wait till after.
Yeah, we'll say it after.
That's awesome.
But anyway, to go back to him, yeah, he's jacked up, and there was an incident last weekend that happened, and cops were called, and I feel bad for him. I really do.
Yeah. No, it's no PTSD's no joke, man.
No joke.
No. And
Regardless how you got it, it's no joke.
yeah, anyway, back to Colorado. 3 here, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah,
Sunday.
last 3 of the year at home. We got our hands full.
It's going to be packed in here.
We got we got to have a good week. We didn't do a lot yesterday. I felt like just with the timing, everything, that we'd come in and have a lighter day. I knew that giving the players the day off, they wouldn't take it. They love to skate and love to be on the ice, and so did yesterday, and then today we got after it a little bit. It'll get better tomorrow as the week, but we got 3 games in 3 days is a lot for anybody. I'm a little. I never like playing a team that has nothing to lose.
Yeah. Oh.
And like literally, you just
Nope.
They have a tendency to play really well.
Yeah.
And everything's just smooth and flows like a keyboard, and and they're not even trying to, and it's all happening
Yeah, it's
because
just-
they're just so relaxed and don't
They're
care.
not overthinking it.
And they're not. That's right. They're not overthinking it. And,
Just playing the game.
Yeah, and we and they're going to be that. So we got our work cut out
Because
for us.
they're playing for something too, right? Like they want to end on a good note. A couple wins, because they're trying to get guys back, and they're trying to recruit. They're trying to do the whole.
Yeah. Playing for
I
pride.
hope they are. I hope that
Because you obviously you don't want the opposite. You don't want a group of guys out there that don't give a crap or whatever, and it's just a 10-0 game, because that's doing much worse to your team.
Well,
So
I know
that sounds
last year.
familiar.
I know last year
Right?
with the year we had, which it was better than the year this team's had, but it wasn't much better. And I remember, like, my last day, I was still coaching, And I haven't been. That's the only time I've ever been in that situation before, and wasn't fun. But I never gave up on it. Like yesterday was a really non-stressful day, which I really wanted that for our staff. I wanted that for our players, just to get to the rink. But a year ago, I would never have done that.
Yeah.
I would have stayed on the pedal going, we have to salvage what we can. And,
Yeah.
So I understand
And,
both sides of
in
it.
those situations, especially at the deadline, and you and I have had lengthy conversations, especially last year at the deadline. What we're going to do and how we're going to do it. If we're going to do it, what's it going to, the consequence? Because the year before we sold the farm, right? And there was reasons for it. Last year we did a little bit of both. This year we're not in that predicament, which is great.
Yeah, and we needed to get back to having a full cupboard.
Yeah, man. Foundation
And,
to come back to, absolutely.
Yep.
So we have that. We have a good situation of guys coming back, and then we have a good situation of having. We haven't traded anything. I think we have 100% of what you normally would get, and that would be good, especially with having guys coming back.
And the core guys that are coming back, man alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a good spot. A year older.
Yeah.
Like you look at Badger, right? Last year he did good. This year he's doing great.
You know what? He's been really good the last
he's got one more
6
year.
weeks.
You know what I mean? And
I
watching
think
the
he's
guys
got a
mature.
goal in every game, but Saturday night.
Yeah, man. And not counting
And it was like
warm-ups.
his last 8. Yeah. Yeah, I know he's been really good.
know what
I
I mean?
mean, Torrey
And-
Lund's one of the best players in the league, and
Yeah.
why he doesn't have a scholarship is absolutely beyond me.
That's coming. It's coming.
But yeah, I think we're in a really good place as an organization. September 1st. I mean, we're there now. What goes on here moving forward? We got a big weekend. This is a big. We got a big gala Thursday night.
Yeah, man.
You bringing your suit out?
Yeah.
Or you're just going shirt and tie?
I don't wear a shirt and tie.
I don't have a suit.
I don't. I wear a collared shirt and some pants, and I don't wear a tie.
Well, I took everything I had to the dry cleaner yesterday, just so everybody knows how proper I'm going to look on Thursday night.
Yeah,
Shirt, tie, well pressed, little starch.
It's not going to be that jumpsuit with the chain.
top hat, the Kangol. What is it, Kangol?
Yeah. Cankles.
To match the
Nice
Kangles.
Cankles hat, man.
But yeah, I know the gala on Thursday. That'll be fun too. The guys did their etiquette class today, which is awesome.
They needed it. They needed it.
Hey, kid, don't start first and eat with your farthest fork first. How's that sound?
Is that how it works?
Yeah, don't put your elbows on the table. Yeah.
Don't talk with your mouth full.
Don't tuck your napkin into your collar.
Yeah.
No. You can do that because that's funny.
So the good thing is I'm sitting with a bunch of kids.
Are you?
Yeah. So Speaking Rock's coming and they're bringing their youth council. So it'll
Oh,
be,
cool.
It'll be good.
Nice.
They're coming and it'll be a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it was really good last year, and the Herman family does a great job. Shay, I know. I was just talking to Herm outside there a minute ago, and busy time for her and making sure everything's I's dotted and T's crossed.
Yeah, no,
and
she does a wonderful job. That's for
Yeah,
sure. It's a
for sure.
pleasure to have her on board, no doubt. But yeah, so best of luck this weekend, Joe.
Thank you.
And I know, Alec, you're preparing for next year and doing your thing, and
Yep.
I know you're on the bench with Joe when you can, and you're traveling, so you're learning some more there, which is awesome.
Absolutely. It's been good so far. I mean, just the last 2.5 weeks or so. I mean, the amount of knowledge that I brought in is, way more than I could ever imagine in 2.5 weeks. So, with learning.
Well,
more
we love
video
having you, man.
and-
We
I
love
I
having
love
you.
being around. So I wish I could have done it
Why
more
don't you
this
guys
year.
hug? Like,
Huh?
is this a hug moment?
Well, yeah, we can bring it in. I can't
it
move. But- no, we Sherm called me last night, which was cool, and we had a nice conversation, and and it's funny how two different people look at things. Is he says, "Hey, what do you want from me?" And I said to him, "Nothing. I want to do something for you." And he goes, "No, I want to do something so." By having this phone conversation, it's like, well, listen, I want to make sure that you can do A, B, and C. And you can do A, B, and C, and then we'll get something in return. And he's like, and I was like, okay. And so when it came in this morning, I I stepped aside this morning a little bit. I was rattled for a reason, but we won't get into
Yeah, we
that.
won't.
But I was like, okay, so now it's like Brownie and Sherm. It's like, okay, you guys do it. So, it's not that I didn't want, I just I want to help him. I don't.
Yeah.
He didn't need to help me. I'm good. And so we had a nice conversation last night. I really enjoyed that. So I pushed pucks today.
Attaboy.
I was pretty quiet because I saw you out there. You're giving me the finger from up here.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. And I literally pushed pucks today. Because I come up here, producer, once in a while, and they're like, "Hey, were you out there today?" I was like, "Yeah." Why? They're like, "Well, we always know when you're out there." Well, I didn't say much today, so I was like, they're probably looking out there going, "Is he out there?" 'Cause I didn't say much today. But so anyway, we're gonna put Sherm to work.
Yeah.
So
Good. Ready for it.
Yeah, we're.
I always want to learn. I want to be a sponge. I want to anything and everything. So that's how I've always been. So keep it going and bring something to the table and learn on the process. So I'm ready for it.
That's good.
But
That's a good
obviously
thing.
at the same time, still I was in St. Louis recruiting at the Combine and Fraser Cup Finals, which is not awesome being there, not playing, but being able to see.
How was the attendance?
It was pretty.
I
good.
asked the same question.
It was pretty good.
Because online it didn't look good.
It was mainly Helena and Gillette. They travel really. And Granite was pretty good too. But there was some colleges there. There's some scouts. Obviously the NA.
So you know what? I don't know what they do with that. And so I won that 3 times. In fact, 3 in a row. And I had to get that in there. But so after year 1, it got put out to tender, right? It got put out to bid. So our building, which we averaged at that time, we are averaging we'd sell at our building. So we 2,400 people was max seats, and it's a beautiful old rink. And so our building said to us, "Hey, can we bid on it? You guys don't have to pay for anything, just playing it, but we're going to bid on it." And they did. So anyway, here's our building selling out every game, but we get to play at home. So for 2 of the 3 years, we got the Fraser Cup in our own building. Because it was at that time it was put to tender. Do they still do that?
No.
Because I was going to say you guys should do that.
We would.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not up for grabs. Now, when we were part of the Western States, it was.
You did put it up.
We put in bids every year.
Every year.
And the bids were untouchable, but they wouldn't give it to us.
No way.
I think we held it once, which we won. McCree was the ref in the final game. I got to tell you something about that off air.
Did he blow it?
No, man, I tell you, he's an awesome official.
He is.
Just an official you want on the ice just because he's the respect that he brings.
And
You know what I mean?
He
And
teaches, right?
He explains to you. And he's very sure of his call, his reasoning. And if you don't like it, tough. You don't have to like it. But this is what it is, and this is what I saw. This
is why. This is
And unbelievable official.
Yeah.
But that's how we met Mike.
He's
years
a good
ago.
man. Yep. He's a good man. But yeah, no, I've just wondered why, because this place would be awesome, and I can't believe they didn't give it to you. Because our building did the same thing. They couldn't touch the bid. Nobody could.
No.
But our at that time Arlen was like,
We're trying to get the Mexican Women National World Tournament here.
That would be good.
Yeah. So, I don't know how that's going to be because
When is that?
well, this year
Next
going-
April?
Yeah, it's held in April.
But a year from now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's already out, but in a couple years to come, we've talked about it, and I just don't know how it would work with the IHF being, because it's the host country, right? That hosts it. Obviously,
Doesn't the IHF take the profits of that?
it's weird. No, they give funding for it.
Oh,
They give funding for it.
really?
Yeah, that's another story. But anyway,
You guys should see if they put ice in the Coliseum and try to get World Junior.
man, when that place was full, it was rocking, boy.
I bet.
Well, but people don't realize, and you know what? I'm not being funny by saying that either.
No.
But you put Team USA down here.
Oh,
These people are coming.
Oh, 100%.
They're coming. But what's that building seat over there? I haven't been in since I played in it.
In seat wise,
8,000?
No. Like
Six?
62,
Yeah, I was gonna say 6.
64.
Oh, dude, like that.
But I'm telling you, when we played over there, it was insane. There's people everywhere.
I know that the World Juniors, and I've dug into this on a couple fronts, but you know, the reason that they're having it in Minnesota, right, next year. Right, it was Minnesota.
I think so.
And it's going to be the farthest it's been away from the border of Canada, because that tournament, the only place that makes money is in Canada.
Yeah.
So when they have it in North Dakota or Buffalo or these American cities, they do it because the Canadians flock over to the event. Yeah. And you know, now that the American game is growing exponentially into where it's at, where quite honestly, I think our country should be concerned. You know, it's going to be in Minnesota, which is a great hockey state, but they've never supported junior hockey at a level that is, you know, it's been marginal at best. And but here, like I think people would support the hell out of it.
Yeah,
I really do. I really do. I think that you put Team USA in here, and I don't think there's a ticket available in this community.
No, for sure.
Yeah, no way.
But yeah, no, it'd be wonderful to do, awesome. And that's, you know, Herm and I have talked about that with the, you know, they approached me, the Mexican national team, to do something like that. I'm like, yeah, by all means, we would do it, but you guys need to find out if that's even possible, because we're not a host country, right?
Yeah.
But being so close to the border, are there rules, you know, that can?
Oh, that's right, because you're not a host country because you don't play in that bracket.
Correct. So, you know, now I don't know if that's possible, if they're willing to do it, who knows, but. You know,
well, you got 2 million people pitching wedge away here, and you got 750,000 the north of the pitching wedge. So you got 3 million people.
Yeah, and we would make it so contagious, like,
yeah,
it'd be hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different deal.
Different story.
Okay, but good luck this weekend, Joe. Alex, thanks again, man.
Absolutely.
We'll convene next week.
Wonderful, thank you.
Actually, next week I'll be gone, so
vacation.
I'm going.
Who's hosting?
So I'll be on Zoom. And you guys will be doing like normal.
All right.
But there'll be 2 chairs.
Well, 2 chairs.
Yeah.
2 chairs
and
next week.
I'll be on a Zoom thing. So I'm going to bring some, you know, Tier 1 girls 19U national highlights maybe.
Nice.
Maybe we talk to Cameron, a couple of her teammates, something like that.
Yeah, we should get our teammates on.
You know, you do something fun, something different. And
awesome.
then the next week after that, I'll be in Spain for the Worlds, for the Mexican national team. We'll kind of do the same thing.
Okay.
And that'll be a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
something a little different in the next couple of weeks, but
Right on.
we'll make it
Yeah,
right.
sounds good to me.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with special guest Jennifer Heon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Corey.
Appreciate you coming. And, you know, we talked over the last couple of weeks, and we finally got you here. And you know, you've had a busy week or two ago with your sister,
Yes.
and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But you know, again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know, conversation we were just kind of having off the air with, you know, how your family's completely involved with it and in the boxing world, and your father still does it. And we're talking about your little one.
Yes.
So kind of date yourself back to when you got into the sport of boxing. I know your father's been involved with fighting for obviously his entire life, pretty much.
Yes. Well, my dad's a martial arts master, so my siblings and we all grew up in the martial arts. I mean, I started when I was 5, my brothers when they were 4, my sisters when they were 3. And we enjoyed the martial arts very much. When I was about 15, I struggled getting matched up because back then not too many females fought. And there's a point where boys don't want to fight girls anymore,
Right.
which I don't blame them. And somebody had offered me a boxing match. And I was hesitant because, you know, my weapons were my legs. And I decided that I wanted to be competitive, and we took the match, and I loved it. I loved it. I didn't think I'd love it, but I loved it. And from then on, boxing has pretty much been my life, and I've enjoyed it so much, and it's been so good to me. So I was 15 when I first had my first boxing match. My brother, AB, is 15 months younger than me, so we all did everything together. And being a boy, he was able to have so much more opportunities than me. So he had fights all the time. He was perfect weight, perfect age. So he got a lot of competition. Me, I struggled. I was only able to box when I went out of town. There weren't too many locally.
Yeah, right.
And then my brothers, he followed in our footsteps, and twins followed in ours. and they excelled. Stephanie and Heather, they did so well in the Junior Olympics, and I mean, just we didn't stop with the martial arts, but boxing had huge opportunities.
Right. And so does your father have a boxing background as well?
So he does not. He's a martial arts master. He grew up in Korea. He knows all the traditional Asian martial arts. He studies very, very diligently. He loves boxing. I mean, he grew up, when he came to the States, he was so excited to watch Muhammad Ali and all the
Right on.
famous fighters, but he did not have a boxing background. He's traditional martial arts. And not saying that he didn't spar. Of course, he sparred back when he was participating in class, was in the 70s. And so there was a lot of gym hopping. So a lot of sparring,
Yeah.
a lot of sparring, all kinds of sparring. So he did get to spar with a lot of boxers, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. But no organized competition, nothing like that.
So he obviously helps your training camp and all that good stuff when it's time. And
So my dad, he is the definition of discipline and respect.
yeah,
So when he has a focus, he's 100% committed to it. And if we're going to compete, he's going to push us to be the best. And no matter what, even though he doesn't have a boxing background, he still has an experience in competition, in training, in winning.
right. Obviously, that goes to say with the whole Han name and the family tree,
Yes.
with everybody being so successful.
Yes.
You know, the discipline plays a major factor in any sport.
Absolutely.
You watch the MMA guys, you watch kickboxing, especially like the boxers. Mm-hmm. You know, I've never done it, and of course, I fought on the ice and stuff like that. We just
Right,
talked about,
right.
but it's obviously different.
Yes.
When you're going toe to toe in a fight for 20 seconds on the ice, you're done. You're
Right.
gassed. I couldn't imagine doing 12 rounds of it, taking a beating.
Boxing is, well, I'm completely biased, but it's the best sport in the world, and it's the hardest sport in the world. I mean, not just physically, but mentally. That's why we love it, because it challenges us, and it's such a rush. But if you don't prepare, then you're not going to be successful.
No, I could imagine, preparation for hockey, hockey season, there's different things you do in the summertime to be prepared for camps. Then when you get into the season, just because it's so lengthy and you have to endure the body, you change your repetition, your workouts, that sort of thing, more of what's the word I'm looking for? Basically to maintain the season. So in a boxing match, we talked about your sister. She just fought a couple weeks ago, lasted 20 some seconds, if that. Now she's fighting again. We'll get into that. I'm not gonna stir it up, but how crazy that is, how quick the turnaround. But on a normal, I guess, scenario would be probably a few months.
Right. Well, it just depends. Like, for example, like my brother AB, when he was coming up in the boxing world, he was fighting. I remember he fought and knocked out his opponent here in El Paso in the first or second round. And then the next week, he had permission from the boxing commission, because he didn't take damage, to fight again. I don't remember if it was in Cruces or somewhere.
Yeah.
So he fought basically 2 weeks, 2 professional fights in 2 weeks, and that was pretty awesome. And that's because he was coming up, and the competition he was against wasn't as quality yet.
Yeah.
So it was okay. So they quick turnaround. And then, but later when you start fighting 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, preparation and training camp is harder and much more strenuous. So we don't fight every week. No.
I could imagine that. So let's talk a little bit more about your career. When did you start your pro career?
So let's see. So I was a 6-time national amateur boxing champion. I loved boxing. I wanted to go to the Olympics. The Olympics wasn't around for women when I was boxing. So I turned pro because I was very discouraged with the amateur scene. And when I turned pro, I thought it was going to be easy. I was like, oh, I'm going to get paid to fight. I'm going to travel. It's going to be awesome. No. Women's boxing was very difficult when we were the pioneers.
Sure.
And a lot of people didn't want to see females fight. It is what it is. They'd have fight cards here in El Paso all the time. I begged to be on the card. They wouldn't put me on. So I was fighting maybe on 2-3 days' notice as an opponent in somebody else's hometown.
Yeah.
And that was it. I wasn't getting any fights. So I decided to turn to coaching. I have a lot of experience coaching my siblings on national tournaments. So I had a nice resume. And then I got the opportunity to fight, to go to Russia with the Junior Olympic men's boxing team. And that was one of the highlights of my amateur coaching experience. And then they invited me to Argentina to go with the women's. I went to Puerto Rico with my sister when she was fighting. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and be an Olympic head coach, you know?
Yeah.
That was my goal. And then I got a call out of the blue to fight in a reality show in Mexico. It's called Todos contra Mexico. And originally it was Reto de Campeonas, but they changed it. And I got a call from Mapi Montero, who's a producer, and she gave me this inspirational speech of how she was going to build up women's boxing.
Right on.
She's going to do everything right. And I was like, let's do this. And it's supposed to be tournament style. You know, if you win, you advance, and if you lose, you're eliminated. Production-wise, it was awful. They already had it in their mind who's going to win and who wasn't. I never lost the fight, but I got awarded third place.
Weird.
So it is what it is. But besides
Welcome
that,
to Mexico.
Yeah. Well, I will say this about Mexico. I was a little bit nervous about coming because we were the foreigners fighting against Mexicans.
Sure.
So who are they going to go for? Of course, the Mexicans. And I was like, they're going to hate us. When we went to Mexico, here in El Paso, I get a lot of recognition for everybody followed my career since I was an amateur up until becoming a world champion. So I do, a lot of people know me. When we went to Mexico, like boxing is crazy over there. They love boxing. Like it's unbelievable. I've never felt like a superstar than when I was in Mexico. They had like life-size cutouts of us. They knew our names. They knew which country we represented. I mean, I'm American 100%, but I was representing my ethnicity, my Korean background. Sure. They knew our record. They knew everything about us. And I was like, whoa, this is nuts. And then when we fought, if you could fight, they loved you.
Yeah.
And I remember I was fighting one of the amateur Mexican national champions, and she was just holding and doing nothing. And the referee was calling me and giving me warnings for nothing. And they were getting so upset, they were throwing stuff at the ref. They were throwing stuff at the ref because they knew that it was bogus and that they're basically being
staged.
one-sided. Yeah, it was garbage. And I never felt more love than when I was in Mexico.
That's awesome.
Because I know it's different. I know people have experienced bad things in Mexico, but we were all up-and-coming fighters. We weren't that, it wasn't really, they weren't leaning towards certain fighters, I guess, like, you know. But anyway, so it was a great experience for me fight-wise.
Yeah.
Not being able to advance in production, being garbage and not giving us any of the episodes. But besides that, I really enjoyed the experience, and it kicked off my career. After that, the fights in Mexico on the reality show, none of them counted towards my record, which didn't make sense because we were fighting every week, 6 rounds. And but when I left the reality show, then I started fighting back to back here in the States. Then I got a fight in Korea for the first time in my career to fight for a world title. Got robbed in Korea. And then because of that experience, even though that was probably the worst experience of my life, important people were watching that fight.
Yeah.
And they gave me the opportunity to fight for the IBF title. And that's history.
Just didn't work out.
No.
You
I
know,
won
and
the world championship after that. So even though one failure opens the door for another.
Absolutely. And you held that record for 5 years.
Yep. I was champion almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's not that it was taken away from me. When I got pregnant and I lost all the weight, I was supposed to defend my championship against I don't know if I'm saying her name, Mahmoud. I think that's her name. And she wanted to fight in France, and it didn't work out. So I fought here in the States against Jerry Seitz, and then Katie Taylor had called me out. So I never lost my championship. I vacated it willingly so that I can go up 2 divisions to fight Katie Taylor.
Nice. So Katie Taylor, I was looking at that. That had to have been one of the highlights of your career.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
give a little background of Katie.
So Katie Taylor is pound for pound the best female fighter in the world. I mean, for those who aren't familiar with women's boxing, She was a gold medalist in the Olympics. She was
For Ireland, right?
yes, she's from Ireland. She's amazing, and I have nothing but good things to say about her, minus the fight. But she really built up women's boxing. I mean, she doesn't talk trash. She's pretty classy, and matchroom boxing really built her up. So nothing but success for Katie. I mean, she had so many successful title defenses. Then she's now the unified champion at 140. So she's doing good things for women's boxing. First $1 million fight. I wish I was part of that, but anyway.
Yeah.
No, Katie Taylor was awesome, and for us to get that opportunity, a little backtrack. So when I got pregnant, I gained 75 pounds. So it was a struggle to lose all that weight. And it was during COVID, so that was even worse because everything was like closing down or people were disappearing, and just it was
a crazy time.
it was a crazy time. It was just awful. But I did lose weight. To be honest, I was actually prepared to hang up the gloves because after almost 6 years of being a champion, I was only fighting one time a year. I wasn't fighting on TV. I was training so hard to get let down from canceled fights, etc. And I was only fighting my mandatory because that was it. Not that people didn't want to fight me. Of course, everyone wanted to fight me to have a chance at the title. Just nobody was willing to put up the money for a female world championship fight, which it is expensive, but we were worth it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And so I was ready to hang up the gloves and then move on with my life. I got pregnant. I was ready to start my family and have my son. I gained a lot of weight, had plantar fasciitis, couldn't run, and that's the fastest way to lose weight. And I asked Louis if he'd throw me in and let me spar with the guys, and he did. And I lost all the weight sparring, literally sparring everybody. And Louis told me, and Louis is not one to jerk you around. He's very honest.
Yep.
And he cares about his fighters. And he told me it was the best I'd looked. And I was like, okay. And he was like, let's fight. And I had a great relationship with IBF. And they're like, okay, we'll do a title defense against Mahmoud. And she wanted to drag it out and do the purse bid to see which country we're going to fight in. And I was already ready to fight. So I had the fight with Jerry Seitz, who was actually in the WCL with me in the World Combat League, Chuck Norris's World Combat League. She's an amazing, amazing fighter. And I beat her, and I looked excellent doing it. So then they invited me to go to England to fight on Katie Taylor's undercard, to be honest. And then that's when COVID happened. And they wouldn't let any foreigners travel. And I mean, I was an American, so I couldn't travel overseas to fight in England. So baby number 2 came, and I had Nolan. And again, 75 pounds. I don't know. I wouldn't blame it on the kids, but they were only 7 pounds. It was all me. And I got ready again. Katie Taylor called me out, and then we fought, and it was an amazing experience. That was the first time they had an outdoor event since COVID in England in front of 20,000 people.
Awesome.
And that was amazing. Like, for a female fight, that was awesome. That was truly awesome.
You had said everything with Katie was awesome except the fight.
Yeah. So the fight, I studied Katie, and she had such a stellar amateur background, and I was like, amateurs, they're so strict. There's no holding. They're so strict with the rules, and so I'm preparing for her. I'm preparing to how I'm gonna outskill her, outclass her, outthink her. And in the fight, she hugged. She held me. She just was such a dirty fighter. And I was like, what kind of, not what I expected at all. Like, you expect dirty fighters from low-level fighters, from fighters that don't have a lot of experience, from fighters that are desperate, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You don't expect it from the best fighter in the world. And she was considered pound for pound the best fighter at 135. And I was just so disappointed. Like, I couldn't believe she was hugging. You have such high expectations. Like
Sure.
this was going to be the battle of a lifetime. This was going to be the chess match of a lifetime, and it wasn't.
Could it be because maybe she's a little bit worried about losing?
Definitely.
You know, obviously
Definitely.
you studied her and you watched her. Obviously, she's studying you, and maybe her corner saying we need to do this.
Right. I think what they thought was that she was going to overpower me because when I was a champion.
So that's a credit to you. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. I was a champion at 126, and she's a champion at 135. So technically, that's 2 weight divisions. So I think she felt that she was going to easily overpower me,
Right.
and that was not the case. And not only that, technically, I was the one losing all the weight because I had gained so much weight during my pregnancy. I've never felt stronger. Like literally, I had mama power.
Let me ask you this. You know, does 5 pounds really mean that much?
So when you're boxing, I mean, you're not walking around at 126, you know? So I think when I was boxing, I was walking around a strong 140 maybe.
Yeah.
And then at fight time, I was 126.
Sure.
So that was me at 126. So everybody else is even heavier.
Sure.
So, for example, Stephanie, they were talking about her doing the Combat League, which is a new thing. It's like a boxing team sport, kind of like what I did in Chuck Norris's World Combat League. And they have a 126-pound weight division and a 147-pound weight division. And Stephanie's 135. So, like, she would have to...
I would imagine you have to round up, right?
Yeah. No. They don't round up. You have to make 126 or you have to make 147. So for Stephanie to go up in weight, yeah, that sounds easy. But then she'd be fighting girls that are like naturally 165.
Yeah.
It's too much. And then for her to go down to 126, she's bigger than me. Yeah. She's taller, she's longer, she's stronger. She would have to be sucking down to fight. It would just be crazy. So for her, that's not really a good.
Sure.
That's not a good
So
opportunity.
when we're talking about weight, you know, weigh-in is what you're guided on, right?
Yes.
So you just said you walk around 140 some.
Yeah.
And obviously you see the movies, you see the MMA guys, they got to make weight and they're doing the bass, they're doing wraps. And is that a true thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Making weight is like half the battle. Go ahead.
I'll let you finish, but I have something to ask about.
Yes. So when I was boxing,
you might answer my question is what.
Right. So when I was boxing, Louis, he has so much experience, so much knowledge. I mean, he was an amazing world-class fighter himself. You know, he beat Freddie Roach for the ESPN title, and he had struggled with weight before. He almost died making weight for one of his fights. And so when Louis is working with me, during training camp, by the time a good solid training camp is 6 weeks. So by the time the halfway point of training camp, I'm already walking around at 132. And he's very, very strict about my weight. Like he wants me to lose it the safe way.
Sure. Yeah.
So since being with Louis, I've always been very strong at 126 because Louis is very much about watching, being disciplined about losing weight the safe way.
Sure.
But I will say from experience, I mean, I've been boxing for a long time, and I've done the crazy weigh-ins. I've done the garbage bag, the sweating it out, just the unhealthy, awful ways.
Sure.
And if you're going to be at this elite level, you have to do it the way Louis wants you to do it because you're not going to be as strong. It's just too much torture for your body.
Sure.
But like my sisters were wrestlers. Stephanie was a 4-time All-American, 2-time state wrestling champion. And I thought boxers lost weight crazy. Wrestlers are even worse.
So how do the athletes get away with that? So they come the way in and they make weight, and then 24 hours later they're back to and everybody knows it, including your opponent.
Right. So in the IBF, you have 2 weigh-ins. You have to weigh in the day of the weigh-ins, which is usually the day before the fight, and then you have a second day weigh-in the day of the fight, and you can only be within 10 pounds of the weight. So those are the IBF rules, and I was the IBF champion. The WBC, WBA, and WBO don't have rules like that. So yeah, in the IBF, it's a little bit more controlled. So I never went up after making weight over 10 pounds.
Sure.
But I've heard crazy stories. I've heard people gaining up to 30 pounds, which is crazy. I don't know how in the world they go from weighing in on one day and then fight night going up
That's
30
crazy.
pounds. It's crazy. So I've
So when you're
never
doing
been
it the
able to
right
do
way
that.
within 5 pounds or so, because that's pretty legit.
Yes.
You know, a lot of that is water weight, right? And then, but 30 pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
They're cheating. They're cheating the system way.
they are
obviously.
They are. And I went to Austin's fight in DC, and he was fighting Hurd, and it looked like he was like 35, 40 pounds heavier than Austin, and I was like, no way. Like I don't know what they're doing, but I know it should be legal, and that's I don't speak for the whole boxing world. But I think we should have weigh-ins the same day of the fight. That would make it fair. But it is what it is, and a lot of people take advantage of it.
Sure, yeah, I can see that. You know, we talked a little bit before, a little bit off air. Mike Tyson and whatever the dude's name is, Jake Paul.
Oh, man.
You know, you got to credit him for what he's doing for that. But you're a boxer. Tell me your thoughts on the entire process. Because to me, I don't care how old Tyson is, he's still going to beat your ass.
Right. I hope Mike Tyson knocks out Paul. So I'm pretty disgusted with Jake Paul. I mean, he is doing this. I'll compliment him on this because of his huge following. He is bringing people that probably would never have interest in boxing as boxing fans. So all his following, all his YouTube followers, they're going to watch the fight because they like him. Yeah. So we are going to get a bunch of new fans, which is great for boxing. But I'm disgusted that he picks and chooses his fights. I feel like he's a coward. I feel like he, it's not in the true spirit of competition. He doesn't fight anybody that's his age, his weight, his size, his experience. It's like, I'm pretty disgusted with it. And I love Mike Tyson. And I'm disgusted that he calls out a 58-year-old man. He'll be 58 when they fight. To fight. Like, that's him challenging a champion. Like, that's disgusting to me. But I hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out. Mike Tyson is amazing. I was actually talking with it about the situation with one of my students. We were talking about George Foreman.
Yeah.
Winning the title at 45. And George Foreman, I remember in one of his interviews, he was saying that he didn't lose his power, but his feeling and everything else.
Sure.
I mean, he didn't look good against Moore. Yeah. I'm glad that he knocked him out, but he took a lot of punishment in that fight. And I love Tyson, and I know he's training hard, but you can't escape from the age. I hope he knocks him out, but I hope he doesn't take too much damage in the process. And that's just why I'm disgusted with Paul, because name any quality fighters that he's fought. You can't.
Just like on any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Right.
Right? You know, you and I can box, and I might get one lucky one.
Right.
Chances are probably slim to none.
Right.
But possibilities there.
Yes.
And I hope that doesn't happen.
That's the beauty of the fight. That's the beauty of
I
fighting.
hope that doesn't happen. I hope it is not what happened to you and you lost the fight type thing because of whatever.
Yes.
I just hope it isn't that too, you know?
Me too.
Because anybody that's a half-witted person knows that Tyson's going to destroy him.
Right.
Or at least should.
Right. Man, I'm like I said, I'm really disgusted with Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't find somebody that's quality, that's your...
Get in the circuit.
Exactly. It's
Don't
not
just
true
pick and
competition.
choose.
He picks and chooses everybody. And he can get away with it because he has so much money.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah,
When I saw that, and then you hear all the rumors. Okay, Jake Paul's got to is allowed to wear headgear. His gloves are weighted differently, all sorts of different things. I don't know how true that is. Maybe you know.
No, I don't.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some gimmick that nobody knows about until they step on the ring. It's like, really?
There will.
I just paid $75 for this pay-per-view, and now there's this gimmick. And I heard something that he's allowed to tag his brother in.
What?
Yeah, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I heard something like his brother's going to be in the corner too, and he's allowed to tap him in. And again, this is social media, so and I'm not a social media guy, so I probably
Right.
believe
Me
everything
neither.
I hear.
Yes.
But it's like, I guess the best word that you said is it is disgusting.
Yes.
It's
Well, if they're wearing headgears and 18-ounce gloves, that's like a glorified sparring
but
match.
Tyson's not allowed to wear them.
Oh,
It's just for Paul. Again, that's what I heard.
right.
So again, he said, she said, but I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not great with social media either, and I got in trouble a lot for that when I was fighting. But I don't know the rules, but they can't have one person doing one thing and one person doing. Well, I don't know. I think if you have the right amount of money and the right amount of pull, then you could do whatever you want.
But it just
So,
goes to show what kind of a gimmick it is.
Yep.
All it is a moneymaker.
Yep.
You know. But anyway, let's move on because I think we're all on the same page on that, and probably 99.9% of the viewers agree with it.
Yes.
Except it's disgusting.
It is disgusting, and I really hope that Tyson knocks him out.
Absolutely.
Because even in his age, I mean, he still has power.
Yeah.
So
Well, you see him hitting those, like his videos and stuff. I wouldn't want to be that guy taking those
no.
punches.
Oh, no.
Because you know darn well, and as you, those punches are missing the glove sometimes.
yes,
And that guy's taking a beating.
yes, yes.
You know, you mentioned a few times that you're a punching bag for your sister.
Yes, yes. So, and I love it. My sister Stephanie, usually in the fights, I'll go in the back with her. That's why I never get to enjoy the rest of the fights because I'm in the back with Stephanie. She's mentally reviewing her game plan, and then she'll physically do it on me. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool. And there's some exciting news.
Yes. So Stephanie, she will be fighting next week, Friday, April 5th, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. And we're going to be there. And I'm very excited because this promoter's given Stephanie a lot of opportunity, King's Promotions. So after she's successful, then I don't want to move too much ahead, but he's already looking to getting her a title fight in June. Hopefully it's here
That
in El
would be
Paso.
awesome.
It would
Yeah.
be amazing. And Stephanie is very, very well deserving. She's worked hard her entire life. And this is, people don't understand for her, she's only fought 6 fights as a professional.
Sure. Yep.
And for her to get these big opportunities, it just shows how much she's worked and how she's beaten quality fighters. She's ready for this. So I'm glad that Marshall believes in Stephanie and that he's giving her these opportunities.
That's awesome. And you know, what's so refreshing to have this conversation with you is how you speak about your family, your siblings, and especially your sister.
Yes.
You know, obviously it's a competitive family. I couldn't imagine what it's like at Thanksgiving time. You know, when everybody's all together. Somebody throwing the turkey and throwing punches here and there. It's got to be comical. The clampets all over again. But, you know, just how you speak of her, it says a lot about you and a lot about your upbringing.
Thank you.
And, you know, we all wish her the best.
Yes.
And
yes.
hopefully there's some good things, more good things for her.
Yes.
And yourself.
Thank you.
And, you know, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Oh,
It's awesome. Like, you know, when I interview people, it's very interesting for me. And hopefully it is for the viewers too, to learn.
Yes.
You know, I've been in sports my entire life, but I'm hockey.
Thank you for complimenting boxing, but hockey is a very difficult sport. And I only got to, I guess, participate a little bit when Louis was coaching the Rhinos. And I have mad respect for you guys to be able to throw punches and skate at the same time. Like, that's difficult. That's difficult.
It's fun. You know, there's a lot of similarities, obviously, the physicality of
Yes.
it. And, you know, it's a discipline.
Yes.
And you just can't jump in it. It takes a lot of
Right.
training and a lot
Right.
of discipline. And you as an athlete understand, and me as well. And you know, your profession, your art is amazing.
Thank you.
And it's fun to watch. And especially, you know, having a conversation with you, and it's been amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Corey. You were complimenting me on my family, and 100% goes to my dad because my dad is very, very family oriented. He knows the importance of respecting and loving each other and helping each other out. And I don't know anybody in this world that's better than my dad. So we're truly blessed to have him in our life. And all my siblings, if you meet us, we're all very, very supportive of each other. And Behind closed doors, yes, we do a lot of
course.
special. We have special relationships because we will point out the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, but we're real with each other. We always want the best for each other, and we definitely support each other to get to that next level.
That's awesome. Well, best of luck to Stephanie next week.
Yes, thank
Hopefully good things. And then maybe when you both get back, we could have you both come
Yes.
in and learn about the fight and
Oh,
talk a little bit
man.
further. That'd be awesome.
You have to meet Stephanie because she's definitely the future.
Awesome. Thank you again for your time.
Thank
It's
you,
been a
Corey.
pleasure and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember to like and follow. And remember, take care, comb your hair, and keep the stick on the ice.